with Kimba?
I got Kimba.
I'm addicted to Kimba. What's a Kimba?
Hi, Kimba.
Hi, it's me, Kimba, Radio Broadcast, Season 6, Episode 3, Magic Power. Triumph is a band that formed in Canada in 1975, so we're celebrating the 50th anniversary. They had not played a full-on tour since 1993. They had not played a show in a hot minute. And then fate, or rather hockey, intervened. And now Triumph is not only touring, they are headed right this way. And to talk about it is a founding member of Triumph, drummer Gil Moore. Hello.
Hello, Kimba. How are you?
I'm good. I don't think I've ever used a Zoom background, but this studio is so drab. And I was looking at a background that I could use. And when I saw this, I thought, well, you're going to be seeing this in just a few weeks. So I thought I'd give you a little taste. Is it about 30, 40 degrees cooler there?
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and that's a really cool background. This is my den at home, so
It's going to look just like this. So
I love Florida, so we're all good.
the Rock and Roll Machine Reloaded Tour will be at the Hard Rock Live April 13th with April Wine opening. I don't know if I can express to you how happy I am that you added dates, because originally the only date in the state was going to be Tampa in May. And I really put it out in the universe. Triumph, please don't make me go to Tampa.
Well,
Sorry,
I
not
love
sorry.
Florida. I really do, and I got a lot of great memories. So now we got three, so that's great.
Yeah. So now instead, you're starting in Orlando on April
Yes.
10th, and then you're going to be here on the 13th. So I really do, again, express my gratitude for you traveling down our peninsula. I know it's a haul, a little dangling participle, we like to call the state. You're going to be in Orlando on Friday and in Hollywood on Monday. So the weekend, I'm just curious, theme parks or this?
I'm a golf guy, so
Ah,
yeah, I'll probably be beating some balls.
okay.
Yeah, that's the kind of my sort of relief, from getting away from the tour and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, I have a lot of golf buddies that I'm sure they're going to be ringing my bell. So, yeah, that's probably what you'll find me like taking divots on a driving range somewhere at a fancy country club.
I was going to say that's my favorite thing, divots. That's what I'm good at for sure. Now, I know the tour is also the name of the documentary that came out a few years ago, and that kind of sparked the Triumph Tour ball maybe a little bit. Maybe it's just like a little bit of a spark, but then last year, the NHL just blew it out of the water.
Yeah, it's been an unusual sequence. Like I was working with our lighting director on he was an innovator and he did a lot of the early hologram work. I looked him up in 2019, like the fans saying, please tour, please tour, please tour, and me not wanting to tour. So I said, Paul, maybe we can pull this together with some kind of visual thing, some kind of hologram, immersive experience. I didn't want to do something like what ABBA's done in London, which is a residency. I said, we always existed like working with the people, with going to their towns, not having them come to us, especially in all the small tertiary markets, smaller cities. I mean, I love the Dallases and the LAs and the New Yorks and so on and so forth, but I love this. I love the smaller towns and the people
Sure.
in those towns. And so we started working on a mixed reality concept, but it's like these stepping stones. You just mentioned a couple of them. So it started with, okay, so we did this documentary, which got unbelievable response. The outcry again from the fans seeing that was, okay, now you've done a documentary. So we want to see you on tour. So our record label turns around and said, are you guys going to tour? We go, no. They go, oh, okay, well, we're going to do a tribute album. How do you like that? We went, well, you got to get a real great producer. So they get the best producer in the world. They get Mike Klink. Like, there's nobody better than Mike. It's a bigger rep in hard rock, in our era. And Mike takes it on and he just knocks it out of the park from the big board and brings in all like a superstar list of all the best singers, drummers, guitar players, etc. From our era. That record comes out and that just sort of stokes the fire. And then, as you said, the National Hockey League playoffs kick in, and all of a sudden, Triumph music becomes the theme song for the NHL. And then Sportsnet up here in Canada says, hey, you guys, you got to come out and you got to play at the Stanley Cup Finals. And that was a funny point because I just called Rick and I said, "Hey, this is fun. Our kids would get a kick out of it. Be fun for our families. Do you want to do it?" And he said, "Yeah, let's go do it." And we went, "Okay, how are we going to do it?" So that was when we placed the call. Again, Mike Klink said, "Get Phil." So we called Phil and said, "Hey, Phil, do you want to do this with us?" Phil goes, "Yes." And okay, we're a couple musicians short of a load. And
And
what do you
Phil would
think
be
we
Phil
need?
X, correct?
Yeah,
Phil
Phil X, right?
be on this tour. We'll talk about him in a little bit as well. Full disclosure, again, because I am a native Miamian, so I am a huge Florida Panthers fan.
Yes.
That said, so you played the show before game two, June 6th of last year.
Yeah.
It was game two. And while we won in double overtime and went on to win the championship, I just have to put that out there. I don't think you have to worry about it this year. I'm just saying. I thought, well, we have a lot of bands who are from Florida who became famous. Well, game three, and then I just thought, no, there is nothing that's going to be cooler than Triumph playing before the game. I was so jealous that I was not in Edmonton. I was like, as much as I was happy we won, I thought, no, there's nothing that's going to be cooler than that in this playoff.
Yeah,
So
I mean, it was the same thing for me. I mean, I was kind of like, I always wanted to be in the NHL, never wanted to be a drummer or a singer or anything like that. My goal as a kid was I want to be in the NHL. I want to play for the Toronto Maple Leafs. And in fact, every single kid I grew up with in my neighborhood, like 100, I can say 99% of us wanted to be in the NHL. Of course, none of us were good enough, including me. And that then life takes its circuitous journey, and I realized, okay, so if I stay with hockey, I'm going to be driving a Zamboni. So I think I got to do something different.
not that there's
So
anything wrong with that.
I was better at drums,
Yeah.
so away you go, and here's where we are.
And again, full disclosure, because I'm a native Miamian, I believe the first hockey game I ever attended was the very first Florida Panthers game. I mean, it was such a foreign sport
Yeah.
as a South
Well, they're a
Floridian.
smoking hot team. They're a smoking hot
Yeah.
team. I mean,
Well,
no one
this
can
time.
deny that.
And what did you want to play, by the way?
Left wing, yeah.
Billy Lindsay. Yeah. All
Yeah,
right.
I'm a right-handed, but I shoot left. Fortunately, when I got into drums, I wasn't playing backwards like Ringo. I watched a documentary with Ringo in it, and they were asking him how he learned to play. And he said, "Well, I never learned to play. That's why I play backwards." That was an interesting comment. Well, there you go. So I learned to play from you, and you never learned. So I guess that explains a lot of things.
Somehow the word paradiddle just comes to mind with all of this right hand, left hand. So,
Oh my God, yes. I've been paradiddling my brains out lately, getting back
well,
to shape.
if anyone's watching or listening that doesn't know what that is, that's just very entertaining. I don't want to even explain it at this point.
It's like this. Da 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 da. That's a paradiddle. That's a single paradiddle. There's double and there's triple and
There's
there's all sorts of variations, but it's just ba da 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 da.
I mean, that's a drumming exercise, but you also say that drumming is a great form of exercise.
Honest to God, Kim, I've told all my friends, I said, throw out your treadmills because you don't need it. There's a huge benefit. Like, first of all, you can get all your cardio on drums, and anyone can do it. You don't even have to be good. You don't have to take lessons, but you can just kind of get into it. And the reason is because you know what? We're all drummers. It was the first instrument that man created, and there's a reason why, and it's because our mamas, right? All of us, when we were born, we were in the womb, and we were listening to that mama's bass drum.
Yeah, sure.
And that's, that heartbeat is the essence of the baseline of music. I started a charity called Sounds Unite up here in Canada, and we're working in the brain science area of music as well as just the educational side of things. And what I've learned is that the therapeutic medicinal value of playing drums exceeds many other instruments, if not all. If you want to really exercise your noggin, get all four limbs going. My theory is now, maybe it sounds crazy, but my theory is now we are all drummers.
You're doing four different things and you sing, so you're doing five different things at once.
That's a funny thing that you would note that because when I first got sort of hipped up to what was going on, I met the chief neuroscientist from Baycrest Foundation here in Toronto, which is the biggest dementia hospital in the country. She asked me about Sounds Unite. I said, Gil, in that interview, you're talking about Sounds Unite. I'd like to use that with my dementia patients. And when she was talking on the podium, she was pointing at a woman playing drums. And I didn't realize at first it was her. So when I finally put two and two together, and I said, Allison, like, why did you pick drums? Like most people would pick, kind of guitar or piano. And she's, oh no, 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 drums. fires the most neurons, right? The
Yeah,
most neural pathways. So I joke with her and I said, well, then you just got to sing as well, fire even more.
even more, sure. I'm still
Yeah.
mastering the pat your head, rub your belly. When I get those two down, then I'll move on to the
On this tour, like I am blessed to have Brent Fitz. So we're doing double drummers, just like the Doobie Brothers did back in the day.
sure.
And Brent is got a phenomenal career of his own. His big career with Slash. He's really just dialed into drums like no one I've ever met. So we're having all these phenomenal. I can't wait to be on the bus with him where we can just spend hours
Yes.
together talking about drums and rhythms. Brent Fitz is a genius. He really is.
So Brent Fitz is going to be on the drums.
Yeah, Fitzy and I are both on drums, and we kind of go
Yeah.
back and forth. And there's a couple songs I leave the kit, and there's times when he plays. He's a great keyboard player. So he stops playing drums, he plays keyboards. I stop playing drums, I sing. It's like we're mixing it up like two chefs in the kitchen. We have Rick Emmett and Phil
Well,
X,
sure. And
like a double-barreled shotgun right in front of the drums, and of course the great Todd Kearns, who's filling in for Mike and doing such a phenomenal job. I mean, the band is just, the band is smoking hot. I have to say this. Like Rick and I are really really excited about the way the band is firing on all cylinders right now. Like if I sound tired right now, it's because I am because I just spent 8 hours rehearsing.
you've done almost like a tour's worth of interviews, not just you, but Rick. And I saw Mike was on them. And I thought and it's so great that you're making yourself so available. And every time I've seen any of the interviews with you, you're all so engaging and you sound like you're all having a really good time, which is great because you don't have to do this. So that makes it, I think, even that much more fun that you can just have fun doing it.
Kimba, you got to say one other thing here right now. We got to talk about Make-A-Wish because
Yes, yes.
is there any greater charity than Make-A-Wish? I got a call from Jeff Ippoliti from Make-A-Wish, and we weren't planning on doing these dates. We had a Tampa show, as you know, went on sale very early. I think it's almost sold out. And he came up and he said, "Would you guys, do Make-A-Wish with us?" And it's such a phenomenal charity. There was an Arizona state trooper that started this charity, and he wanted to grant kids that were really not in a great position, give them a special wish. And I don't know, for me, I'm a father, I have three kids. I'm all about family. I'm so blessed. My kids are just phenomenal people.
I love it.
When I think about a young person getting ill or being in circumstances that don't allow them to progress, it's heartbreaking. I think Make-A-Wish is a charity that everyone should dial into, and
Yeah.
certainly we're dialed into, and the Orlando show and the Hollywood show are both benefiting Make-A-Wish.
It's 100% of the net proceeds are going to go to the Make-A-Wish Foundation,
Yes.
which again grants wishes to critically ill children. And it's anything they want, they make it happen.
Anything that a young person can dream up as their wish, we will try to grant it to the
Make it
best of our ability. I can tell you that.
Well, that's just another reason to buy tickets. I want to share two quick stories with you. I know there's a lot of people, I know you hear through the years how your music has affected people, but I have two that have just recently happened. When I go to the gym, I have this one coach every week. He plays Magic Power during our workout.
Oh,
I know. And the first time he played it, this is started last year because I remember I ended up telling him about you playing at the NHL. I was telling him, they're touring, right? I was every week I'd give him the update because he played it every week. Because I think the first time he played it, and I was one of those, like, I did the prairie dog, like, what? What are you playing? So it became our thing. But then one time recently, he ran up to me and just shoved his arm out. And I looked and I said, what? And I looked down and he says, goosebumps. Never doesn't happen. I just got it talking about it. He said, every time I play this song, that's how it affects me. And lyrically, it's just such a beautiful idea.
funnily enough, I think as a band, you really don't know what your effect is on your audience or your legacy
Mhm.
until decades go by. And we certainly never knew. I mean, when we were young and we were in the throes of it all, we really had no idea. We were just three musketeers, trying to elevate because most bands are failures. So we're just trying to elevate. We're just trying to say, oh, can we just get an audience? Because most bands never get an audience. So we had an audience, and the audience got bigger and bigger and bigger until we're playing arenas. And then all of a sudden we're going, oh, geez, I think we made it. How the heck did that happen? Because we're just three goofballs. You'd be so grateful to those fans, but you realize they end up telling you what your music is. It's not about you telling them this is what the song. No, and so to your point about
Yeah.
Magic Power, like what came back to us is the positive lyrics. So even though we were a hard rock band, so some people called us heavy metal, some people called us precious metal, but we were definitely metal, but we weren't on the dark side. I don't know. I thought we were dangerous. What you find out is Buddy pulls his arm up. He's got like never surrender tattoo, or fight the good fight. I had cancer. And all of this stuff like hits you like right here, like a
Yeah.
sledgehammer.
And the other story is it's a former colleague of mine. She's not in radio anymore, but it's got to be over 30 years ago. So I told her that I was going to be talking to you because I remembered what a huge Triumph fan she was. And she laughed and she goes, I can't believe you remembered that about me. It kind of stuck. And she told me like over 30 years ago, she was in Orlando at the time and went out to interview the band. And I guess it was later that night at the show, Rick dedicated Magic Power from the stage to her. And in her telling me that story, I could just feel that she was right back there at that moment. And that not only does she love telling that story, she'll tell it every time she gets the chance. So I opened up that window for her to tell that story again. She is going to be at the show on April 13th. So I said, if you want to make a note and say, Sherri, it'll blow her mind 35 years later. Hey, this is for Sherri.
Sherri, okay. I got to write that down.
Just the effect all these years later and how that touched her. You stopped doing your full-on tours before I got to see you. So I'll use the terminology from back then. I'm stoked. I'm like, I can't wait.
You should both come backstage after.
Oh, that would be great.
Both come backstage after the show.
Oh, she would lose her mind, I think, but that's great. When she did that interview, she was a single girl in radio. Her daughter's getting married in just a couple of days. So she's married, she's got a kid, she's getting married, and still telling that story. I got to interview them and he dedicated a song to me. I think that's just fantastic. April 13th, Hard Rock Live. Tickets are still available, but get them while you can. And again, know that 100% of the net proceeds are going to go to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. It's an excellent thing to do and a smart way to do it. Gil, I already was, but I think now I can say I am forever a Gil Moore girl.
Oh, gee wills.
Thank you so much for taking the time. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Kimba.
I'll see you on the 13th.
You promise me that.
I promise.
Say hi to Sherri for me.
Okay, I will.
That is rock and roll royalty right there. If you can see Triumph on their Rock and Roll Machine Reloaded tour, definitely do. Thank you for being one of Kimba's herd, and thanks for listening to me, Kimba, Radio Broadcast, Season 6, Episode 3, Magic Power.
This Kimba's on the radio.